I'm Becky L. McCoy, and you're listening to Stories of Unfolding Grace, the podcast about grace during unexpected times. You'll hear from real people dealing with hard stuff, and I hope you'll feel encouraged that you can bravely live through hard stuff too. In this episode, I'm talking with my friend Maretha. She is from South Africa and has a pretty thick accent. If you're having a hard time understanding her, just stick with the episode. I summarize what she said every few minutes, and what she has to say really is quite amazing. I am here with Maretha Retief. Is that right?
Yes.
She was just teaching me because she lives in Pretoria, South Africa, which is really cool. So I think you're officially my first non-American guest. So
that's an honor.
Yes, it's wonderful. I'm so excited. She writes over at Seasons with Christ. And why don't you share with us one of the difficult seasons in your life that you've experienced?
Okay, well, if I can start off just a little bit of a background that started my difficult season that I'm going to share with you today, was that I was born with a left lobster hand, which means that I've only got a pinkie and a thumb. And that in itself brought about many difficult seasons and challenges across the years. And then from a very young age, because of the disability, I had some difficulty to be accepted by people. Friends and people didn't just accept me by offhand. So for me, my way of trying to earn my acceptance with people was through performance, and I did that through tennis. I grew up in a tennis family, so I started playing tennis at the age of 4, and then when I was 17, I qualified to go and play at Junior Wimbledon, and that, of course, was beyond my wildest imagination.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was... And I thought everything was just going perfect and well for me, exactly the plans that I had for my life. Mm-hmm. And when I played my first round match, I tore off all the ligaments. I had a tendon that ruptured around the bone in my wrist, and I had to stop. So everything came to an immediate end right there. At the very point where I thought everything was going perfect for me, God made me realize there were other plans for me. So I had to get back to South Africa. And then the doctor just confirmed what I kind of knew already, that it's the end. I won't be able to go back and play again. The strain on my hands because of the training and all the playing and everything, I won't be able to, keep that going. So from a place where I thought I had this wonderful career going for me, I was in a place where I had no idea what I'm going to do next with my life. I'm 17. I have to start thinking now about a different career for myself. So that kind of had me at a place where I didn't quite know where to go to next.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So, do both of your hands have the same disability?
What happens with this disability is it's usually your hand and your heart that has a defect.
Okay.
And the defect in my heart only came out a couple of years later when I had also a very near-death experience. And the thing, the disability is apparently there's a few things in your body that plays along with it. But your hand is one thing, your heart, but there's no fixed thing for everybody. For each person, it's got a lobster hand, it's got a different look, it's got a different impact. So we never knew what would come out. But for me, it's only the left hand, and my right hand also. Actually, at Wimbledon, it was the right hand that had the problems because of the disability in my left hand, I did most of the playing right-handed. Mm-hmm. So all that strain and everything caused my hand just to, it couldn't take it any longer. So we never even thought I had any problems with the right hand, but it came out there that there were some bones and tendons and things that should be there that's not there as well. So yeah, but it looked normal, and then because everything looks normal, we never thought it to actually focus on the right hand because after there, I didn't really have any problems. We always just focused on the hand that looked different. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have this disability in your left hand. So tennis is the perfect solution, like you said, because you can use your right hand. And you were this incredible athlete. You make it to Junior Wimbledon, which, like, wow, I'm just so in awe of that. And then all of a sudden you have this injury on your hand, and you think that you're never going to be able to play again. So how did you react to that? Because that was your identity. That's what made you feel accepted.
Yeah, I think that was my first problem, is I based my identity on that at that point in my life. And, I was devastated. I was completely lost at that point, because I didn't have any backup plan for my life, because everything was just went according to plan. So, like I said, the first thing that kind of happened was I fell into depression. And I even had attempts at suicide, and every time when I tried, it was just the thing that God came and told me, it's not your time, it's not for you, and I couldn't get myself to do anything to actually be successful in that. And then I even turned to eating disorders, because I kind of blamed myself for my career not working, planning out the way I should have, because I overdid it. I never listened to all the warning signs I had before, because with the hand disability, every year I had to set out a couple of months where I had to do, I would call it maintenance work to my body, or to my hand at least, to keep it going.
Yeah.
And I just thought, there were so many times when I think God tried to tell me, this is not for you, but I had this talent, everything was going for me. Why not? I tried to lead him into my plans. And, so then I was on this path of destruction where I just felt I had to punish myself. And, I became bulimic for quite a couple of years. And then I got angry at myself for doing that, because, there's just nothing good. So it was just this down spiraling of trying to, giving up, and it just got worse and worse, until one day when I reached that point where, I just realized where I'm going now is nowhere. And, I was ready to give it up, but God wasn't. So then that's kind of when I turned my focus to not so much on myself and what I thought was right and what I thought I should do, and turned it to God and, asked him, who am I? What am I? Where am I supposed to go? And that's when I kind of went on this journey of finding my identity in him, because, up until that point, everything was based on the tennis and the performance. And obviously you knew a lot of people and you had the recognition because of the success that I had. But when that success fell away, it's kind of me fell away. So, and I think that was a huge eye-opener for me, and that's when I was starting to question, who do I actually belong to and who I am. But it took me a while. It was a couple of years before I could get myself from that completely black hole that I was in, and started searching for different answers.
What did you struggle with most during that time, and how did you handle it?
Look, I think the biggest thing for me was, like we've said now before, was the one thing that gave me acceptance of people, and that I kind of based my being on and who I am, was taken away. And the part that I thought I was in control of my life was also taken away. So it was just like everything that I thought I had under control wasn't there anymore. And I just realized, I was making all these plans for myself so long, and I had to stop. So it was no longer about my plans, but about God's plans. And the thing that I started, I just always ask, why me, why this, why now, And when I did that, I realized I'm actually being quite a bit self-righteous, because it's just about me, and I don't think anything should happen to me. But who am I actually to say that? And I've realized that if you ask this why question, it's usually a negative connotation to it. But the thing came up with, why not? Why not does it not happen to me? And if you do that, you put a positive turn to it, and you start looking for something good in what happened to you. And that's when I started to search for, and how I tried to handle it to get out of this dump that I was in, is to ask God, where are you in this? What are you trying to do with me in this whole debacle that I found myself in? And I think when I got to that point where, and it was difficult to actually see him in those times, because I was so focused on me and what I've lost and what I thought was right and wrong, But it took quite a bit of time and effort to actually go back to the Word of God and just look for Him and try and see what good could come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And when I actually started looking for Him, I could see all the times and places where He still showed me encouragement and still loved me, and that He does have a bigger plan for my life. I thought I couldn't have any bigger plan than a tennis career. But and He just started showing me that there was more to it. I mean, sometimes it would be through a loved one, sometimes it would just be some pieces in me. But slowly but surely, when I actually turned my focus away from myself and to ask Him, where are you and what is this all about, I kind of saw Him in all these things. And I, what I thought was kind of the end of the world for me, it became a true beginning for me in the life that God wanted for me.
Mm-hmm.
So all the recognition and popularity that I thought I was going after, I had to take a step back in my life, and it became a bit more about the sincerity and the purpose of why am I here on earth. It's not about what I want, but what God wants for me. So yeah, it became quite a journey for me from there.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I still just can't get over playing in Junior Wimbledon, because that's just like that.
It was fun though.
I'm so impressed.
It was fun for the 2 weeks that I was there.
Oh, I can only imagine. When I lived in London, we went and did a tour, and I think it was in April or May, so they were getting ready for Wimbledon.
Yes.
And it was just, you could just feel the amazingness of that place.
Yeah, and the energy and everything building up.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. I get so excited to see people choosing to live bravely and authentically. Each week on Tuesdays and Fridays, I host a Facebook Live event to share more stories of people living bravely, and I want to hear your story too. Join us at facebook.com/Becky L. McCoy. I can only share so much with you here on the podcast, but you can read my story and learn more about living bravely and authentically at my blog, BeckyLMcCoy.com. Stop by and sign up to receive my monthly newsletter. It includes book recommendations and blog posts and podcast episodes you may have missed. Check the show notes for details. So I'm using this definition of grace as when good things happen during challenging or difficult times. So how would you say that grace showed up for you?
It's always easy to look back afterwards and see, where it came up. And while you're in it, you can't see it at all. But yeah, when I sat and actually worked through everything that happened and start searching for God in all of it, I realized that He was there all the time. Even in my times when I had these different plans and I wanted to go and play Junior Wimbledon and everything else afterwards. The wonderful thing for me was that he knew, even though it wasn't His plan for me, He knew that was my heart's desire, and He still granted it to me. I mean, He still gave me the exposure to go there. I saw what I was working for the last 5-6 years of my life, day in and day out. And He still gave it to me. I mean, I could have, everything could have ended before then. And
right.
He still gave me what my heart's desire was. And He did that while He patiently waited for me to come to terms with what He had for me. And I mean, the wonderful thing for me was that 2 weeks before I went to Wimbledon, I was playing a warm-up tournament. And even then, since I had some problems with my hands and everything, there was, after one of the games, after the matches, I was sitting next to the court and I was starting to wondering whether it's just really what I should be doing because of all the problems that I'm experiencing. And a lady came to me that I've never seen before and never again. And she just came up to me and said to me, Maretha, God has different plans for you. It's not tennis. It's much bigger than that. And I looked at her and I thought, you don't know what you're talking about.
Crazy,
but even though I said it, I kind of knew you know what, I think she's right, but I mean, hey, it's right before Junior Wimbledon. This is what I've wanted all along.
Yes.
It can't be. I mean, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And you know what, and he never ever pushed me or, you know, shoved me away from it. He just gently guided me slowly but surely that there's something else, but enjoy yourself while it lasts, but it's going to end sometime. And the other thing that I've also found that God's grace came, you know, through in an amazing way was that he never, you know, held my ignorance and actually disobedience against me. He still loved me, but he used my weakness and my strong will to show me how gracious he is towards me. I mean, I just kept going and going, and he never said to me, "Oh, you know what, you are just so far off. I'm not going to, you know,
right.
care about you anymore. You just go on and carry on, do what you will." Because I am pretty strong-willed, and yeah, I've got a mind of my own. So it took quite like 6-7 years to get me where I'm supposed to be. And I could have saved myself so much hurt and pain and everything, and all of that just showed me, you know, he could have had his way much sooner in my life, but he's gracious, and I mean, he gives me time, and he loves me. He's not going to force me to do anything because he wants me to do things because I want to do it for him, not because he, you know, I have to do it. And all of that was just for me amazing, because I mean, there were so many things that I could have said myself, and he knew it. And if I listened to him, it wouldn't have happened. Even like I said, he still gave me the heart desire, and he gently guided me up to the point where I was ready to accept that, you know what, there's something better for me, and it's what you want for me, not what I want for myself. And yeah, so all the things that I thought mattered became completely pointless, and all the outward things of life that I valued and thought would cause me my true happiness, I realized weren't. You know, I had everything going for me, but I had an emptiness on the inside, and I know why, because I mean, everything just became about success and fame, and God kind of had to go, you know, a backseat in my life, and I mean, you can never find your true happiness that way in any way. So, yeah, so when I actually gave up all of that, and I learned that through this, you know, I don't need the performance to define myself and to be loved. A disability doesn't take me away from God. A disability can't stop me from being accepted by him, because I was accepted by him even before all of this. So, yeah, and even that the disability can't stop my East plans for me, you know, and I thought if tennis comes to an end, there's nothing else for me.
Right.
And that he showed me there's actually much more, so I can just put my focus on him instead of myself. So, yeah, I think the grace was just in a complete way for me of finding my identity in him, and finding out that I'm accepted in spite of what I look like and who I am and what I do. And then once I step out of this, you know, me, and becoming onto what he wants, you kind of get an opportunity to experience these unforced rhythms of grace, that I call it in life, because then things just happen. I mean, it's still not always easy, but you know, it's what should be happening, and it's no longer you who's in control, but it's him. It takes quite a lot of pressure off yourself then.
Yeah. So tennis was kind of just like ripped out of your life. You had no more opportunity to try to win anyone's approval or love, or even God's approval or love. And how did you choose to live bravely and authentically because of that?
You know, when I got to the point where I realized, you know, I can just be me, and that's okay, and that's enough. What I found was the bravest thing for me to do is to actually get out of the driver's seat of my life and just allow God to take the wheel. And that for me is quite a step to take, because I like being in control of what I want to do, and you know what I must do and what should happen, and I always want to know what's going to happen, all the steps and everything. And for me, I found the bravest thing for me to do was to actually step back and let God do what has to be done, so that he can guide me into the places that he wants me to go, so that I can actually reflect him in this world. Because if I was going to continue on my own way, which the world would have labeled for me as being the brave one. I mean, you have this disability and you enter into that world where only perfect people play, like they put it, you know, with 10 fingers and everything.
Right.
People labeled me as being brave and this gutsy person and tough and everything. But actually that wasn't the kind of brave. That isn't real bravery. I mean, the bravery came in to actually walk away from that and let God have his way with me. Because, I mean, what the world labels as brave and what God labels as brave is actually when you submit to him. And that was obviously against the norm. But yeah, that for me was the bravest step that I could take. And I mean, it's a choice that you have every single day. It's like, whether you're going to control your own life and whether you're going to surrender to God. And I think that surrendering act was for me the bravest thing that I've done and still do every single day. Because it's so natural just to take back the steering wheel and go my own way. And I still do that sometimes.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a conscious choice every single day to do that. Because I mean, otherwise, I think there's nothing extraordinary about what I have to share. I mean, the biggest thing for me was actually becoming the lesser part and showing where God became more. And I think that for me was the bravest thing that could have happened.
Absolutely. So if you were talking with someone who was having a lot of this success in something, like you had success in tennis, and then it was just ripped away from them, how would you encourage them to handle it?
You know, I think my first words to them would be, it's not the end. There's always hope. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's the cliche words that you hear, and I've been told that, and there's a reason for everything that happens. And I wanted to tell somebody, if you tell me that one more time, I'm going to put down words, and it was just for me, I don't want to hear it, I know, you know, and
yeah.
But the truth is, there is a reason why things don't work out for you, and the only way that you're going to find where you should be going is to turn to God. And I mean, and it's not just, and it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be a quick answer for you. I don't have the answer, nobody else has the answer. You're going to have to go and sit with God, let Him show you, because the way He showed me might be completely different for the next person. But as long as you know there is hope and there's a bigger purpose, you kind of get that sparkle of hope in your heart, knowing, oh, okay, this is not the end of the world, even though it feels that way. If you can get yourself to that point that you ask that question, you know, God is somewhere in this, somewhere He's going to show up and show me a bigger way. And He's always, He's not a liar. He says in His word to us that He's got good plans for us. So if you're at a point of destruction, devastation, that just means He's not done with you. So, and that's what I'm saying. Search for Him and search for those answers, because He's going to show it to you.
Wow, so much wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's such, it's so tempting to just think that what we can do and what we can achieve is what makes us important.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it is.
I'm just so encouraged by your story, and I know that it will be, it'll be something. It's a story that other people will feel encouraged by, to do the brave thing, like you said, and just learning who they really are and where they can put their identity. So before we say goodbye, I have a couple fun questions for you.
Yeah.
So the first one is, what are you loving right now?
What am I loving?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I must say, I guess it's this 2-month-old baby that takes all my sleep away at night. And so I am loving the sleep deprivation phase that I'm hoping is going to come to an end very soon.
Yes. That's great. What's the baby's name?
Mira.
Oh, beautiful. So I love, like, really good food. I really enjoy eating well-prepared food. What is one of your favorite meals or treats right now?
Right now, it's white chocolate. Something that I usually don't eat, but at the moment, I must say, white chocolate is probably at the very top of my list. Fruit is like it's something that I have to eat. But if I can choose something, it would be a white chocolate.
All right. That's a great answer. Do you have really good chocolate in South Africa? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, well, we've got the Lindt and all those nice things. I know when I was studying in America, I was staying with a girl from Switzerland. So her mom sent us all these chocolates every month. And it took a miracle not to gain too much weight there.
Yes.
And with all those, because every Monday morning she would put like a little bag full of all these chocolates on our desks.
Uh-huh.
So, no, we've got the Lindt and all the nice stuff. So, yeah, it's a variety. Whatever I feel like, I can go and get it.
Yeah, Swiss chocolate. Wow, it is really incredible.
Yeah.
Yum. Oh, now I'm just going to be able to think about chocolate from Switzerland.
And I must put the temptation out there for you.
Yeah. What are you doing to take care of yourself?
You know, it's something that when I had my first baby, I know God kind of took a backseat as well. There was never ever time. I never made time for him. And I know you get just tired and overtired the whole time. And you end up being exhausted. And I found myself in this desert place. And this time around, I just said, I'm not going to do that again. You know, only way I'm going to survive this second pregnancy and the baby will be if I actually make time for God. And I can honestly say that's probably the best thing that I've ever done for myself in a very long time. Despite the very little bit of sleep, is having that time every morning, whether it's 5 minutes before I get out of that bed I read at least something, whether it's a verse or something. And I must say that made quite a difference. I think that's what kept me sane the last month or two.
Yeah.
And, because, exercise is just not happening at the moment. Eating healthy, every now and then it features, but not too often.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the only thing I can honestly say that which I actually made a decision myself, this is the best thing I can do for myself, is to actually spend that time every single day, and I'm not letting it go. And then obviously I think the one thing that we share is writing. Every now and then I get that time to sit and write. It's something that I do for myself, and it always feels good afterwards to have put some words down on paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the last question is, what are you doing to be brave?
Other than trying to raise 2 children and keeping them alive?
Yeah.
Oh, let me think. I'm probably going to take another turn on the tennis court soon with my husband, and just try and do it for fun and not bring the competition back into it, but just to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because for me, doing something socially has never been too easy. So I think that would be probably what I'll try and do, to be brave.
Yeah, yep. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. While you're there, please rate, review, and share Stories of Unfolding Grace. When you give it 5 stars, it goes a huge way in helping other people find the podcasts by increasing my ranking. If you're interested in sharing your own story of unfolding grace, head to my blog, beckylmccoy.com/submissions. I can't wait to hear from you. Next week, I'll be talking with Andy Hayes, the owner and founder of Plum Deluxe Teas. The teas are absolutely delicious, but what I find most fascinating is the story of how he got to be a tea owner, because that's not where his career started at all. I'm really excited to share this episode with you, and if you want a little preview of his teas, check out plumdeluxe.com. Thanks again for joining me. I'm looking forward to next week.